We coming in live, hon? All right. Check 1, 2. Yeah, you can hear me. Good. Let me get some music in here. There we go. Should be able to hear some music. And I'm gonna we'll toss that in there. Oh, I forgot to increase my bit rate. Trying to hot apply it to see if it'll work. I like that the music is audible. Oh, you have a little wrench next to your face. Alright. That's probably because you're a mod, right? Mod power. So this is Michael Gelfi that we're listening to. It's the music that I use for a lot of the stuff in the games that I run. Oh, there we go. Okay. Trying to see how to set up things here because everything's slightly different than what it is for Twitch. Music's kind of fun. I'll probably make this a pretty short stream, probably just maybe half an hour or so, won't go super long, as we're just testing things right now. Oh, my... Oh, I've got to turn it... So that's a pretty sizable long song. I've got a couple. I've got some Eric Salazar stuff in here too. Eric Salazar, I remember I chatted with him on Instagram, and that's how I kind of found him. All right. All right, we're going to go ahead and transition. And it's a hard transition right now because I do not have it set up for the transitions that we do on our regular games, but that's fine. It's neither here than there. Hi, Dr. Squigums. Welcome to our first official test of the YouTube. I'm still getting used to things. I'm still looking at settings. I'm learning things. We'll see how things go. But if you stick around, we're going to be talking a little bit about Break RPG, which is one of the Kickstarters that Evelyn and I backed within the past year. They are very close to being finished with it and delivering, but I have the beta version 0.91. And we're going to talk a little bit about what we've seen in it and some excitement with that. And I don't know, we're gonna chit chat about things tonight. Again, this was just kind of a test. First thing I want to ask is, how is the sound coming through for those listening at home? I hope that it sounds okay. I did not really test the mic setup or anything other than what I've been using for Twitch. And now some people may be wondering why I'm doing this, why I'm looking at possibly using YouTube instead of Twitch. And I want to give a little bit of a reason that before we kind of jump into the TTRPG stuff. I've been using Twitch now for years. Prior to COVID, I was very active in it. During COVID, I was super active in it. I was streaming Call of Duty Warzone during that time. And now I've been doing the Pathfinder streams on there for a couple of years. I have my issues with Twitch. One of them is discoverability. One of the things that we haven't been able to do is we really haven't been discovered. And what that means is letting other people find our content. And I like our content. I think the people that join us each week on Sunday, Mondays, and Tuesdays like our content. But there's no real good way to find that content. And yes, I put the videos of our streams up on YouTube, but that's not the same as finding it while it's live, which can happen while we are on YouTube. The other thing is the amount of money that Twitch takes and doesn't really tend to progress their system, their servers. It's just, the 50-50 split is fine, but it doesn't feel like we get a lot for that 50-50 split. And so right now, I'm not making anything off of YouTube, mainly because this channel is new. I actually have another channel that has 15,000 subscribers that deals with digital art, but I wanted to start fresh, wanted to start new, and that's what we're doing here with far more focus on Roll for Perception and our games. And so as such, I just we're starting over. We got about 62, 63 subscribers, which is a little low. We can't really monetize until we get to 500 subs. And this is non-paying subs. This is just people likes, I guess, would be the same thing on Twitch. Can't really monetize on YouTube until we hit that 500 and get 3,000 hours watched over 365-day span. So we'll see how that goes. It is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. Monetization is important, of course, but you're right, Dr. Squiggums. I love listening to podcasts on there. And if I ever get back into the podcast game, which at one point I did a World of Warcraft podcast, had over 100 episodes. If I ever get back into that game, Spotify does really nice with that. So I completely agree. Do me a favor. I just want to see what the latency is here. So in a second, I'm going to say go. And when you hear me say go, I want you to type it in or have it pre-typed in the chat and just hit enter. I'm curious what the time delay is. We're set for normal delay now because that's what I wanted to test. And let me just get up my handy dandy timer here. So I have my stopwatch. So here I'm about to say it in 3, in 2, in 1, go. So now the timer's going, and we'll see how long it takes for somebody to type go in the chat so that we know roughly what our latency is. I think some of the settings said it was anywhere between 15 seconds and 60 seconds. So I'm curious what we're sitting at right now. Now, what would be funny is okay, there we go. That's about 20-second latency. So that's not terrible. That's actually sometimes better than what we were getting on Twitch. So I'm not going to complain. I'm going to take a little sip. And let's talk. So I'm a kid of the 90s, grew up in the 90s. I'm what they call a Zennial. Now, some people don't believe Zennials exist. What Zennials are is they are the group that kind of sits between Gen Xers and millennials. And the way a Zennial is viewed is we are the ones who had our younger years analog and our later years before adulthood digital. And that's exactly who we are. So, when I was young in the 80s, it was records, it was tapes, it was go outside till the streetlights came on. TV was furniture, as were stereos. I mean, I grew up in a very analog, younger years, and I loved it. Had a blast. We did have my biological father had an Atari. We didn't play it much, but we had one. And then other than that, I mean, we didn't even have a remote for the TV in my early years. We had a box where we just turned to change the channels. And those were good days, don't get me wrong. But then as we moved into the 90s, that's when we started to be more comfortable with our digital selves. We had our first computers in the house. I remember Windows 3.1 was the first operating system that we used in my house. And of course, used the Papyrus font quite often, which I don't use anymore. But it was amazing. Local bulletin boards. Our first modem was a 2400 baud, and I was dialing up to a local bulletin board in Virginia Beach where I grew up. And then we got, you continued to grow with your modem, 14.4K, 28 something K. And, we were using American Online and Prodigy. Bulletin boards were the thing that we used. So it was kind of cool. Well, time kind of went on. And by the time I was in college, some of the people in our dorm had computers, some did not. I never had a computer in college. I didn't have my first computer. Oh, it would have been when I graduated college. This was late 90s, early 2000s. And I had just gotten married to my first wife. She was still in school in Northern Virginia. I had an apartment, and I bought one so that I could do work and play games. And that was my first computer. And of course, I've been living in computers now. Now I'm sitting here at a desk with a computer I built for two full monitors, a Wacom drawing tablet, and digital is part of my life. Well, the reason I bring that up is because Break has kind of got that feeling. Break heralds back to the days of the 90s and anime and all of that wonderful stuff. It's inspired by fantasy video games and anime. I'm going to jump back to their Kickstarter if I can. Let me see. And what they said in it, like the little blurb right at the beginning. Where are you at? Boom, 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 boom. Campaign. It's a tabletop role-playing game of exploration and adventure. Setting and aesthetics are inspired by classic anime and the Super Nintendo Entertainment System era video games, along with wistful fantasy novels and movies. And of course, that immediately drew me in. That is my life right there. And so, of course, I had to kickstart it. It's not the only one I kickstarted at the time. Kickstarted a lot at the time. And really loved it. Hey, Damien, welcome. We're testing out our YouTube stream this evening before we use it full time on Sunday. So I wanted to give it a test and see how it went. And we're talking about we're starting with a little TTRPG called Break RPG. All right. Speaking of that, I'm going to go ahead and transition us over to so you guys can see it. Oop. My transitions are terrible on this. This is an old setup that and the purple's brand new because I just grabbed it, but kind of goes with the aesthetic of what we're doing here. But so none of my transitions are in or anything like that. What is your one question? I'm curious. Oh, you know what? I can toss some underlay music too. Funny story about that. Let me answer that in one second. Let me get the music going. Let me get a little music going. Boom. All right. So here's the issue we're running into. Eventually, she will be able to. But Stream Elements, unfortunately, this is a new channel for me on Stream Elements. And so because it's a new channel, I don't have all of the pieces that you get once you've been using it for a little bit. Let's see if anything new has popped up. Nope, not yet. And so there will eventually be loyalty rewards, which is very similar to channel points. Those are not available yet, so I want to apologize now about that. Yeah, I don't have an answer for you right now. There is a way to tip, which we'll go over come Sunday. But yeah, might be a little tough. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. So this is Break RPG, and immediately you should be able to see the aesthetic, right? It is anime. It is 90s RPG video games. It is awesome. The colors are bright. They've got a 90s feel to them. Let me know if the music gets too loud. It might not even be playing right now. Let me see. Oops, I didn't need to do that. I put two of them in there. Oh, I just took it all the... No. Look at me messing things up. And this is why we practice. How come it's not showing up? Because I see my desktop. Oh, because I'm on the wrong one. Don't judge me. I can judge myself. All right. Nope. I can't figure it out. Oh, there. I just figured it out. Okay, that was pretty impressive. Why is Zoom on there? Nobody cares about Zoom. Not today, at least. All right. So let's look through this a little bit. And I've got this set up so we can check out each of the pages individual. Break is a tabletop role-playing game of exploration adventure set in the fantasy realm of Outer World, a place of wonder and peril. One of the interesting things about this is Outer World is not our world, but you can play a character from our world. We'll learn about that in a second. Outer World is broken. Most struggle to survive, huddling together in the ruins of the past. Some pockets of civilization remain. Their leaders seek to shape the future. Talks a little bit about what a role-playing game is, which I always like when companies put that in there, especially for new players. Talks a little bit about the gameplay here. Inspiration. Video games such as Godslayer, Crystalis, Mana series, Final Fantasy, of course, Zelda series. Animations like Studio Ghibli. You've got The Last Unicorn, which is amazing, by the way. Literature is there, other RPGs, and then Blogosphere. Gaming grognards? If you're already familiar with RPGs and related to gaming jargon, here's a quick system overview. Break only uses D20. It's the only die you're going to need. Aptitudes are not rolled randomly, but set by your calling, which is your class. Experience points are awarded for rank advancement. Roll under aptitude checks. Yes, under. It's going back to some old school here. What does this heart do? Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Okay. Sorry, I broke things. Docs menu. I am like literally breaking things. I apologize. There we go. Okay. Point crawl, overland travel systems, tactical turn-based combat, roll over enemies' defense ratings to hit. Weapons do set, not random damage. Hearts reset every fight. Lasting injuries occur after your hearts are depleted and need to be healed. Scenario, not story-based adventures, which is kind of interesting. Random encounters with mood rolls, and I'll if we get to that tonight, I'll show you that. And then success is determined by the player's situational decision-making and calculated risk. So there's some really interesting things in here that I'm super excited about. Now, I've read I haven't read it straight through, but I've read a lot of it. And so we'll look at some of those things that I read. First off, let's start with the adorability factor, and we're going to zoom in here, of course. I mean, look at how cute these adventurers are. 6 steps to creating your character. It takes about 15 minutes or less. So let's go through. And all you need is a D20. First thing you're going to do is select your calling. Callings are cool. We'll get into that in a second. Second thing we're going to do, I love that this shows me like a chat rate, concurrent views, and views. And you guys are ringing in the hours for us right now, so I appreciate that too. Second thing you're going to do is select your species, super important. You're going to select your homeland and history, your traits, your quirk, which, let's be honest, Damien's got plenty of them. We're going to add finishing details, and then we're going to end. Now, as you can see here, at each creation step, you will be presented with many choices, 2 ways of making decisions: to randomly roll with a die roll or simply choose your options. Now, anybody who knows me knows I hate rolling for things like this. That's why I do Pathfinder 2e. Having said that, let's look. All right, here's your calling, and here's your calling table. Okay. You have Factotum, the Sneak, the Champion, the Raider, the Battle Princess, the Murder Princess, the Sage, and the Heretic. This is going to come with aptitudes, combat values, calling abilities, character advancement, combat gear allowance, etc. So let's go through each of these. And I love the fact that Factotum is the first one here. I plan to be that old guy. Yes, yes, you do. You hate rolling for things. I despise it. It's not a hatred. It's a despising. Oh my gosh, I am... The only thing I'm missing right... Oh, our stream announcement went up too. Oh, you put it up. I appreciate that, hon. Oh, and you know what I should do? Let me see if they have it in here. Discord rules, setting playtest. Break. One second, y'all, because I just realized I should have... I'm in the break Discord, and I'm... No posting or discussion if I keep you... Okay. Let me... Let me just type something in the break RPG. All right, so I post that. Okay, so Factotum, you elevate all, everyday skills to an almost magical level, and this is super kind of interesting. And once we start like digging into it, you'll see. Be prepared to focus on the details. Don't be a hero. You've got your champion, valiant fighter who favors force and direct action. Why pick a locked door when it can be kicked off its hinges? The way I look at the champion in this is like a combination of champion and fighter from Pathfinder 2e. Sneak, you're a rogue. I don't think they need to say anything above that. You're a rogue. All right. Raider, you find victory through speed and precision. Even the mightiest foes fear your fluid and precise combat. If you're looking at Ranger, if you're looking at Swashbuckler, Raider might be exactly what you want. Let's see. Yep. Okay. Battle Princess. You are a wielder of bright magic and stalwart defender of the things you hold dear. You inspire and motivate all those around you. This is closer to champion. It is, or at least it feels a lot closer to champion, but there's some other cool things once we look at it. You've got Sage. This is your wizard, your sorcerer, etc. Your Murder Princess, which I don't know if I have anything to actually compare it to. It's a murder princess. No clemency for those who oppose you. And then you've got the heretic. You read from the blasphemous script to call forth the forbidden. This is actually like a summoner, which you're going to see here in just a few minutes. There is a delay. We found it's about 20 to 25 seconds, though it could go up to 60, depending on where you're at. But that's no different than Twitch. I think Twitch for me a lot of times is 30 seconds. All right. Again, I want to point out the art here because the art that they do is phenomenal. I mean, look at this. All right. We're getting into it. And that, I've gone suspenders. I've decided suspenders are cool now, so in case you're curious. With the Factotum, some are born to be great. Others have greatness thrust upon them. Yes, Dr. Squigham's Murder Princess, Dark Knight. Yes, okay. We'll talk about healing here soon. Factotums are ordinary folk caught up in exceptional situations. Their mundane approach to extraordinary problems is more effective than others might expect. Think of the Factotum as the person who's not an adventurer and just kind of falls into it. If you've ever seen the second Deadpool, where you get all these people, he's auditioning all these people, but the very last guy, he's got like no powers. He's like, hey, yeah, no, I'm just here. Yeah, that's the Factotum, which I think is freaking adorable. Um, he's bringing suspenders back. Yes, I am. There you go. So I just saw what you wrote, then I said it, so you can roughly tell the difference there. So factotums are crafty merchants, intrepid explorers, charming courtesans, stalwart common folk. Is an NPC. It's an NPC who's decided to go on an adventure. Okay. They have balanced aptitudes. They're happy in light armor and can use all but the most tricky weapons. Skills focus on the mastery of simple things, whether it's figuring out an ancient device or talking the team out of a tight spot. So it's really kind of fun. So you get starting abilities. You start with 3, second to none. So while now leading a life of high adventure, you rely on little skills that have always served you well in the past. So you have an edge whenever you roll for a check or contest covered by one of your purviews, which we'll get to that. And then this replaces the minor bonus you normally receive on rolls related to your purviews. Kiki's delivery service, I like that. You get the factotum pack. You carry an oversized backpack around effortlessly. And despite it being crammed full, you are able to produce the required item from it almost instantly. You're like, bink, yep, I'm here. Your backpack provides 8 additional inventory slots before you become overburdened. You can retrieve and use any item stored in the pack in 1 turn rather than 2. If lost or destroyed, you can make a new pack by spending an evening modifying a regular backpack. If anybody else uses it, though, it's just normal. And you have Don't Mind Me. Oh, don't mind me. Don't mind me. You have a distaste for direct combat, and your mind is often looking for a way to help without going toe-to-toe. Yeah, prescient planner feat, exactly. During a fight, your opponents will not target you for attack in any turn where you are not intending to perform an offensive action, or doing something that will obviously cause them harm or spoil their plans. Look, Damien, this is your perfect character. As long as you never attack anything, you won't be attacked, and your character will live forever. You select a new ability when you reach ranks 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. This is interesting. This only goes to level 10. What does that mean? I'm not sure yet. Then you get standard abilities, which are available for selection at rank 2 or higher. So again, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You get new abilities. So you kind of go through these and you can pick them. They're interesting. You got Crafting Prodigy. You've got Folklorist. Here's Healer's Hands. So you have trained as a physician or a medic and are able to administer an array of field surgery procedures. So you were asking about it. Here it is. Good healer. You see rank 1, rank 5, etc. Combat coordinated, silver tongue, social learner. I'm going to let me adjust there we go. Advanced abilities. So these you can take from rank 6 or higher. So you've got Boon Companion, which gives you a companion of some sort, Troubleshooter. Now you'll see this versus here requires a contest. So you'll see, for example, this is your aura versus the observer's grid. So there is one-on-one. GM characters roll individually. Your GM can choose to make a single roll for a group or crowd. I want to show this over here. So if you see this here, so the 13, the 4, and the 4 over here, these are rolled dice. And what I mean by that is each page, so if I go back up, each left page, 9, 6, and 11, 15, 5, and 19. With me so far, okay? So, for example, if you look here, requires a deafness check. You can flip through the book and just stop on a page, and you can use that as your dice number. So, I thought that was kind of cool. Evie's not going to kill you off. Not immediately, at least. She might. Multitasker. So these are all essentially feats. Now, here we go into your combat gear allowance. You can use standard, concealed, quick, and lash melee weapons, and all missile weapons. And you can wear light armor without penalty and use small shields. So essentially all the green stuff tells you what you can use. And then here's your advancement table. Like I said, only goes to 10. So at first, your attacks plus 0, 2 hearts. You start with 2 hearts. That's it. 2 hearts disappear, you disappear. Boop, boop. Your might, your deft, your grit, your insight, your aura. You start with 3 abilities. And then it kind of builds as you go. And that's your factotum. And each of these has, so as you can see, move on to sneak. We're going to see different things with each of them, right? So I'm not gonna read through all of these right now. I think that's for later on, but we will jump down to the sneaks. Here it is. Light armor, melee weapons, ranged weapons, and we can see here 0, 2, 7, 10, 7, 10, 8, 3. So you're not rolling for your stats, and I'm a big fan of not rolling for your stats. I do not like rolling for stats. I like it when they're just there. Champion. Look at this guy. I want to play him. He's cool looking. Courageous knights, bloody-handed marauders, arrogant monster hunters, wary old soldiers. I mean, this could be a real fun one to play. Now, this is the first one where we're going to see something a little different on their stats, I believe. So we're going to scroll down. First off, they can literally use anything in the book. Okay. They do start with 3 hearts. That's 1 more heart than 2 for those keeping track at home. Everything else is roughly similar. You've got your raider, like I said, is like your swashbuckler, your ranger. This is one of my favorite pictures right here with the arrow in the head. I'm like, you know, she takes aim, fires, dead. Even flies will kill you. Well, wait till we get to the enemies. I don't know if we'll get to them today, but it's actually interesting. You can see the gear, and they start with 3 hearts as well. They start with +1 attack, though. So there is this kind of balance here, you know. Battle Princess. Look at her. Just look at her. He's crying. She hugs. Shining warrior maidens, tyrants who weep for what must be done, wandering champions of the downtrodden, and pious crusaders. We've all been there. Now you can play one. This is cool. You call forth a weapon forged from the wishes in your heart. These magically manifested weapons are of the finest quality and grow in power and possibility as you do. I mean, that's pretty cool. You see how this primary form and weapon ability, secondary form, combination form. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Shield of Love. These are great. And you get a soul companion. You begin your adventures with a magical companion, so you too can have a pet cat that travels with you. I know you do. I know you do. And you get a pet from the start. That's one of your first 3. So your first 3 abilities, Heart's Blade, Shield of Love, and Soul Companion. It's phenomenal. Battle Dance is one of the things you can pick up later. Never stand alone. This is your soul companion. All soul companions start with the same basic abilities. Is it an animal or a toy? Oh, man. All I can think of now is holding a squishmallow. I love this so much now. Look at the brave toy. They get their own abilities. Now, you see here, Shield Maiden is, you know, plenty of armor, but only a melee weapon and only one thrown weapon. Is a +1 and 3 here, though, so good starting stats. Ah, the Murder Princess. Everyone must play the Murder Princess. Oh, one moment, please. I just want to check something. All right, stream is healthy. This is where I go back just to look. Let's see. Have we really been going for 41 minutes already? No way. Have I been talking that long? No way. No way. Okay. Murder Princess. Let's get back to it. Dark Avengers who wield both blade and spell to destroy. So this is our first look at spellcasters. You do get a Wrath's Blade, which again, primary form and weapon ability, secondary form, combination form. Dude, look at this. That's so cool. Withering Glare and Tenacity. And then, of course, you have your other elective abilities. Look at Sword Storm. This is so cool. You can summon clones of your Wrath's Blade to appear over the battlefield that rain down upon anyone surrounding you. Yes, please. I need different music. This music is so oofa. Thank you. It felt so angry. I guess it went with that character. I just want to read this. If you slay an opponent during a fight, you can immediately take another action afterwards, as long as it continues or accelerates further violence. Yep. That, my friends, kind of says it all. Combat gear. This is actually very similar to the Battle Princess. Yeah. I know. Murder Princess is awesome. Now we get to the Sage, who I think is adorable. They get a Grimoire. They get a Sage's Staff. And they get Prestidigitonium, which is, of course, similar to Prestidigitation. Mortifying Bloat. Glowing Ink. Hocus Pox. This is one of my favorites. The very useful cloud. You can coalesce the moisture in the air into a small cloud. And this odd little bean floats along next to you and has some very useful applications. Eldritch Explosives. And tell me he doesn't look like Merlin from Disney's Sword in the Stone. Like, I'm just saying. Combat gear is as expected. 2 hearts, but their insight's at 10, so. And then finally the Heretic, who I think is so cool. Heretic, like I said, is kind of like a summoner. So as you see here, Starting abilities, Fitful Sleep, Dreadful, and Squire Marlowe. Speak his name calmly, and Marlowe, a servant-like spirit, emerges from the shadow to do your bidding. And as you look through, everything else is a summoning. So the Widow Prisma, Bushi Miyabi, Deacon Galrave, Seer Kazna, all of these. And so I'll scroll down so you can see what they look like according to the imagery. Here they are. Squire Mallow, Widow Prisma, Deacon Galrave, Count Paris, Messenger Kayla. I love Prince Justinius. And then they get bigger. Eaglemet. So it's just cool. Well, of course it's the best day ever, Eric. And welcome, P.S. All right, so those are all your classes. Those are the ones you get to choose from. And the next step is species. So let's look at those. This will probably be the last thing we look at tonight, and then I'll do another one that kind of goes further into this. It is a question. Why is Eric shouting? That's a lot of capital letters. So here are the classes, and we're going to look through them. Human Native, Human Dimensional Stray, Chib, yes, that's a chibi, Tenebrate, Ray Nico, Promethean, Groon, Goblin, Dwarf, Elf, and Biomechanoid. So let's look through each of these because they're brilliant. You have your human, native human of the world. We have humans in every game that we play, right? You know, D&D, Pathfinder, the Blades in the Dark. You name the game, and there is humans. As such, there are humans here. They're the humans of the place, which is fine. You do start with one ability. You are medium species, etc., etc. Now we get into the cool ones. So now we've got human dimensional stray. While physically indistinguishable from native humans, these strays are accidental visitors from an entirely different planet. Their other world is one of science and supermarkets, not one of swords and sorcery. They are from our Earth. And you can see like typical names and everything. And there's nothing super special about it, but I just wanted to point it out. Now we get into the fun ones. So here's our chibs. They're literal chibis. That's what they are. And they're adorable. As we continue the scroll, you have your tenebrates. Now, these are interesting. They, as you can see, I don't know what to compare them to. They are, to a certain extent, similar to drows, similar to tieflings. There's a lot here, and so I don't know. You know, if we're trying to compare it to other TTRPGs, that's what we've got to do. And again, you've got Nightborn, you've got Shadow Sight, you've got your Rey Nikos, who are not native to the outer world. They crash landed, so they came on ships, cat-like people, and again, adorable. Continuing on, you have the Prometheans, and these are, as it says here, referred to as chosen of the sun. They're like the perfect mortals. I mean, look how good they look. And they're awesome looking. I believe they're the tallest. We'll find out here soon. It's at the end of this chapter. Now, these are the ones that I want to play. These are the Groon. Groon. Because they're cool. I guess maybe a mix of orcs and goblins. I don't know. They're cool looking. Then we do have our goblins. And they are brilliant. Look at the nose hairs coming out of this one. You continue on with the dwarves. And the dwarves in here look very different than the dwarves that I've seen in a lot of places. They look more like stones here, which is what they feel like. Then you have your elves, your lithe and agile elves. Before I believe we finish with the biomechanoids, which essentially they awoke from a coma. And they're exactly what you think. They're kind of human-esque machines. And then we look at their heights. And look at them. You've got two that are large. Most of them are medium and 2 that are small. So we're gonna actually pull it to a close here tonight with that group there. We've looked at the species, we've looked at the classes, or the callings they call it in this, of Break RPG. We will continue this this deep dive into Break RPG soon. There's some really cool stuff as we get into some of the other things like playing the game and the outer world, and just wait till we get to the adversaries. I don't know if this is bookmarked. Let's see. This is not yet bookmarked because it's not a final copy, but just jumping down. Am I in the adversaries section? I am. Just some of the art for the adversaries is really cool. Like this stuff right here. Unshaped Belzoob. They're just cool. And so we'll kind of go deep dive into those too, and we'll look at how the combat works and what the storytelling's like, etc. So as always, if you're around, go ahead, give us a watch on Sunday mornings 10 a.m., Monday evenings at 6 p.m., and Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. Our 3 streams of Pathfinder 2e. But as you can see, I'm very interested in things that are not Pathfinder related. We are not raiding into anybody because we are not raiding tonight. I hope you all, let me switch to my single head. I hope you all enjoyed this kind of beginning deep dive. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of a look of where we're going with YouTube instead of Twitch. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to contact me and we can talk about it. But thank you all for being here. And we are going to go ahead and finish up the stream. Now I got to remember what buttons finish up the stream. If I pull this over here. All right, this might be a hard stop. If it is, I apologize. Take care.